And there we are. We are live. And if I did everything correctly, they can see and hear me. They can see and hear you. Phil, I'm going to pretend for a minute like we haven't spent the entire day talking to each other. How are you doing, good buddy?
We're surviving. We are legitimately surviving. Um,
I get it. Are
it's
we talking home life or are we talking game life or both?
uh I would say more the home front. So between like baby number 3 and my work being at its like busiest time right now and ramping up, and then like baby number 3 is due right when like our audit starts happening, which I'm heavily involved with. And so I'm trying to like juggle all these things to get done in time for that to happen.
But
So
does
it's
the
just a
baby know
lot.
that? Like, have you tried to like let the baby know? Like, hey, could you
No,
maybe
I just, dude, it is my wife has taken that so far out of my control where she's like, I like asked her, like, hey, could we like move this to like this date just so like I have some breathing room? And she's like, go fuck yourself.
this thing
No.
isn't staying in me any longer? How dare you,
Y-
sir?
Yeah. I was like,
Uh,
it's just 2 days, but yeah.
yeah, but you know what? You don't have to carry a baby around for 9 months, so
I just have to deal with her for 9 months, so, you know.
well, I'm not looking forward to that myself. But I'm gonna continue to remind myself that when that happens, I'm not the one that has to carry this around. I'm not the one that has to carry this around. Be nice, be nice. Go get the pickle flavored ice cream with chocolate chips.
Dude, yeah, I'm very fortunate that Kirsten hasn't had, like, bad cravings. That's, like, one thing I could be thankful for.
No, like midnight, hey, you need to go to the CVS 45 minutes away. Not the one next to us, not the one closer, the one
Yeah,
45
yeah.
minutes away.
No, it's the only last time I got really I forget which kid it was. It was, like, juice or something, and I was getting really frustrated because it was, like, me having to go to the store at, like, 5 o'clock or, whatever time in the morning,
Oh
at
God.
night, and I just got sick of it.
I get it. I mean, I understand. I already do that for my wife. So it'll probably just get worse. And she already has really bad cravings at the worst hours. So I'm not gonna get the same luck that you are hopefully going to have. We have I mean we planned this about what a week ago and nothing was going
It's yeah,
on.
it yes.
And we almost switched it to Monday night. And just because like I was like, hey, I have time, right? And nothing was going on. Um and now we just see a ton of shit happening in game over the last 3 hours. So I feel
Oh,
like we don't
dude,
even have
yeah.
to bullshit about the game, right? We have things to talk about. Where do we want to start?
I think so. I know we haven't really gotten official, like, I don't wanna, like, harp on Relic Delta to the extent of, like, it's coming, we know it's coming. I think we both are in that same category of, like, we don't really think it's the smartest thing in the world, but it is what
Hmm.
it is, and we just have to move on with life at this point.
Right? Yeah,
So,
I agree
like,
with
I
that.
I wanted to get that in the hemisphere, at least to say that, and then kinda not try to dwell on, "Oh my god, this is the worst thing ever," because I think we've both kinda it is what it is now.
Yeah, I mean, I have done so many videos on it, and being part of the beta, I feel like I've just kind of had to do so many videos on it, just because people were looking for that information. Do you?
I did I did wanna ask on the is the beta still like, how, what did I wanna like, how involved is the beta still right now? How much are they I'm gonna say still listening, but, like, how active is that testing? Is it still ongoing at this point, or are they
Well,
kinda like, "Hey, we have all the data, we're good"?
what I had kind of said last time is that it felt like things were kind of toning down, and that's kind of where we're at right now. I did my last video during update 5, and I kind of said I personally believe there'll be an update 6, and that'll be the last one. Um, but and that update 6 might not even come. It might just be what comes to live, right? And we don't even see it because I think what people don't understand, and I've said this in the videos, is, and I've seen this on Discord, is a lot of unhinged comments about people going, oh, they don't listen to feedback. There's a million people telling them not to do it. And that's not how the feedback loop works. The feedback loop works where they look at those comments, sure, but they're looking at data, right? Battle data. And they're looking at like how outcomes work and don't work, and what is working and what isn't working, and tweaking things based on that. So I think that we're getting pretty close to the end, and in terms of the beta itself, it's kind of wound down towards a close. But we don't really have any. I don't have a release date. I don't know when it's coming out. I don't know if there's another version that's going to be slightly different from the versions that we've seen. But I think we're probably going to see it in the next, I would say, 2 updates, if I were being realistic.
Yeah, my thought was that they would get it, that we have a shortened era for a reason. That this is
Yeah.
not a
The PR
that's not a
speak was like, we're
coincidence.
listening, right? The PR
Yeah.
speak was, we're listening, and we wanted to try out a new new era cadence of a smaller era. And yeah, it might just be the standalone episode of Relic Delta. Who knows? We'll find out, right? We're gonna find out fairly soon. And I don't want to say that I'm excited, but I kind of just want to rip the band-aid off at this point and figure out what's going on.
It's a good segue, because part of my question was with testing, right? You guys have done, it's only been GAC so far.
We did some
Correct?
TW testing. No, we did some
Oh,
TW
TW has
testing.
happened.
Yes, I have not done a ton of TW testing, so it's hard for me to talk about that, because that's happened in like the last week and a half, and I've just been insanely busy to really put a lot of time into it. But a few of the testers asked for the TW Omicrons to be switched on just to see if there was any, like difference. You know what I mean? Like with how Relic Delta worked, and if the expectation changes were kind of shifting. And from what I understand, it's kind of exactly as expected with the GAC Omicrons at this point.
Because I was curious. I think I was more curious with Territory War than GAC, because I felt like more of the GAC, or there's a lot more available counters in GAC than TW with some of the teams. Like, think of GL, like Galactic Legend Ahsoka in Grand Arena comparative to her in Territory War is night and day. And so I was curious how that battle worked with Delta, where full Relic 9 there feels a lot harder than it would in a Grand Arena.
But you're also using a totally different counter a lot of the times. And I hate to say this, because a year ago my answer would have been different, but I think that a lot more guilds have caught on to the TW sandbagging thing. We don't do it. My guild doesn't do it, or at least we don't do it intentionally. Sometimes 35 will sign up just because that's how many people want to play it. But I know that more and more guilds are doing it, and the majority of matches are not competitive towards that high end game. But from my understanding and from what I've seen, and again, I have not done that much testing in the TW stuff specifically, it doesn't seem like there really has been much of a change. And I will say, I put out a video today because people are asking, should they looking at the comments, like, should I panic do this? Should I panic do that? I think we're going to exist in a stage where anything below Relic Delta 3, you're not going to really have to worry about. And I think that there's a lot of alarmist people. And I personally would not do any relic levels that you don't specifically target yourself as needing, right? Like I am a reactive person. When Wampacron came out, mine was Relic 5, and I lost to a Jabba. And I was like, what the fuck? I thought this was the easiest battle in the world. So I took him to Relic 7, right? I was like, all right, well, I lost one battle. He's going to Relic 7 now because I clearly need him at Relic 7, right? And now he's Relic 9 just because if we had to do Malachor platoons and I needed a Relic 9, I wanted it to be an homage to you. So that's what we did.
Yeah, mine's been Relic 9 for ages. But like the whole, it's funny where like if you look in SWGOH.gg
Yep.
and look at that counter, it's 75%,
Yeah.
which cracks me up because you know that the 75% is one of two things. It's the people like us with the Relic 9 Wampa and the really good mods that it really like. I've beaten people with the Darth Vader Kron, I've beaten people with the Shorty Kron, it is what it is.
Yeah.
My Wampa's gonna do fine. So there's the people like us where that's a non-factor. And then it's you said a really crappy Jabba and Wampa's just gonna win because of that Datacron. And all those fails are people who have a crappy Wampa comparative to the Jabba they're facing and don't realize that there's more. Like I've watched Arnold lose that fight, and
There are a lot of people who are going to go in, right? And they have like a Relic 3 Wampa or 5. Well, it's a Focus, so 3. Yeah, like Relic 3 because of the CLS journey, or the Jedi Knight Luke journey, rather. And they kind of just go, oh, well, Wampa beats this, and I'm going to do it. And it just doesn't work that way with their shitty mods. So I would
yes,
definitely agree with that. And now, obviously, mine is R9 now, and I won my last match against a Jabba with the Sortikron. And Halloween Leia had like 350% potency to start the battle. But my Wampa was able to overcome that. My shorts went a little brown, but
oh dude, yeah, it's not a fun fight.
I was
to
able to
watch.
overcome it.
But yeah, it's been I think that's been, if there's one thing I would take away from, I would say some of the crons, because I still think there's some that I kind of get pissed off about
Okay.
that exist. But
I
I think they've done a better job trying to get away from some of the more absolutely ludicrous stuff. Obviously, the Hondo one right now is on my list of it's ludicrous.
there's yes. There are ones that make the game not fun. So like the what's it, the emo Ray one, right? Like that made the
That
game
was
not fun. And I had it,
correct.
and I abused it just like everyone else did. But it made GAC so not interesting, and it was happening during the summer, and I had more time in the summer, and I could stream GAC at night during the summer, but I didn't want to, because it wasn't interesting to me at that point. And we see that a lot with like different Raycrons, right? Because she's already a powerhouse, especially with Ezra. Though the new Raycron that everyone was like really excited about at first with the ult, my Ufus are still beating it, and I think more reliably, to be completely honest.
Yeah,
So I think overall, yeah.
I think the problem with that Raycron is I think you need really good stats on it.
Hmm.
I think 5v5 will be a tougher match.
It probably will be because there's more stalling getting to Leia, and she'll be able to ramp up a lot more.
But yeah, I think oh, excuse me, but I think the Ray team will be fun.
That's
But
yawn number one.
I've been running the Jawa focus cron with her. Just because that Jawa cron has like 70% health, like
It's
80%
got nice
offense.
stats.
Yeah,
It's got
and I
nice
was like,
stats.
this is just gonna annoy people. And it was holding really well against a bunch of different teams in GAC. So I was
You know, it's
very
been holding
pleasantly.
well for me over the last 3 months consistently. The most consistent hold I get is my Mon Mothma and Luthen with the
Really?
Rolocron. I would say
Oh, okay.
almost every single match I get at least one hold. And I had one match where the guy completely stalled out on it and he dropped like 20 battles. And it was actually really funny to watch. Because this, I'm pretty sure it was one of my K1 matches. Because I kind of teeter on the edge now. But it holds almost all the time. And I'm going to be very sad when that Kron is gone.
It's funny. I bring Rolo on offense because that's like my Lord Vader, whatever team I'm gonna beat kind of counter.
Okay.
But I have a Lord Vader team on defense that is relatively nasty, and it's got a
Hmm.
good Datacron, and it held against Rolo, or it held against the Bo-Katan Mandalore Rolocron like multiple times.
You need a good Bo-Katan, because I've used the Bo-Katan battle and I've beat Lord Vader's and I've lost to like you can't just like the old Lord Vader, you could have a mediocre Bo-Katan and be like,
Yes.
whatever, this is a hard counter. It's more of a soft counter now where you really have to invest in the team if you want it to see it do what it needs to do.
I am very glad we agree on that because I love nothing more than seeing people fail on my Lord Vader, and then you go look at their Bo-Katan, and she's like not good enough offense, or there's no stats on the team, and I just sit there and I'm like, you couldn't kill anybody, and this is hilarious.
Yeah. And I got caught with that too. And I have been starting to put more investment into my Bo-Katan now because I know, hey, I need her. Right. And I know Maz, I haven't used the Maz counter against Lord Vader, but I know that it exists. I am working on my mods for that team, and maybe that'll be a little bit easier. But right now, as it stands, Bo-Katan is my answer. So I need to invest in the team. And I've been doing a lot more investment into GAC over the last probably 3 or 4 months with datacrons, with relic levels, and the push to try and maybe stay in Kyber 1 and face you.
I mean, your ranking has been a lot higher than what it was.
Yeah, I was staying at the bottom of K2. Now I'm like, every other day I'm like bipolar. Sometimes I'm K1, then I'm K2, K1, then K2, K1, K2.
I've said I was there's other people in like the Sigma Alliance and we talk about GAC, and one of the things I said is that it's easier to be like consistently in K1. Like I get easier matchups in the lower level of K1 than I did at the high end of K2. I couldn't explain it, but it 100 and I think part of it is you get more sweats in that high part of K2 who want to make K1.
Hmm.
And in the bottom part of K1, you get some of those guys who maybe climbed up too high and they're on their way down, or like you get a better mix of people in Kyber 1 than I feel like Kyber 2.
I have not spent enough time in Kyber 1 to comment on that. I don't know how true or not that is, but I'm working on it. One thing that people don't understand is in order to stay in Kyber 1, you do need datacrons.
Yeah.
And there's kind of like when you start to invest in datacrons, it's really hard to keep up. But because of that 25% you get back, you start with slightly more each time you go through to the next set. And because I did not spend a lot of time on datacrons, I only did my 50s. I really didn't invest in it. I'm working on starting with almost nothing, right? And for the last 3 or 4 cycles, I've been trying to do my hundreds to get more, to build more. So now I'm going from like 4 or 5 max crons to like 9 or 10 max crons plus focused crons. So I'm making upwards progress, and well, we're gonna face each other soon. It's gonna happen.
Dude, I relish that day because it will just be fun.
Yeah, we've talked about it. We'll do something just completely silly, something stupid, something off the cuff. I don't know. I've been getting more invested in that stuff lately, and I would enjoy doing that. Anything that makes me laugh.
I would say the hardest thing I encounter in K1 that I say more of an annoyance, I wouldn't say the hard, is I call it my like soft max. I'm probably there right now. Like the 3700, the upper 3700s for me.
Okay.
That's where I run into that wall of guys who are like just as good as or better than me, and their roster's already better than mine. And so you just get completely destroyed on like, oh, you have 3 teams with 100% max health, and
Yes.
they're all Relic 9.
Well, and those people are also not all of them. There are some people in that gauntlet that don't spend at all, and some people that spend very small amounts. But I've learned over the last like 6 months, there are some people that spend a lot of money on this game. A lot of money. And
Yes.
skill and money, it doesn't completely make up for it, but it does give you more access to being able to min-max your datacrons, which helps a lot. So it does become harder to break through, and you have to be interesting in how you approach those battles.
Yeah, I've found with like I fought like some guys like I fought like Taro. Who I think
Okay.
Taro is one of the largest accounts in the game.
Yes. Yeah.
And I remember going into it and just being like, this is an automatic loss for me. And I like look at a singular team and you're like, this is just insane.
Yeah.
Like everything's just crazy. And that's where Relic Delta concerns me, is those fights where that's already an insurmountable climb,
Hmm.
now made even harder. And again, maybe it will avoid me from ever having to do it in the first place. So maybe that's a positive, but you know, jury's still out on that one.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I haven't, obviously I haven't faced him or Ross. I've faced people who have like mod depth like that, and people who have datacron depth like that, but not that have rosters like that. Generally, I'm facing guys who are around where I am in terms of roster, usually maybe slightly lower than I am. Um, I don't know. We'll see what happens there with GAC going forward. I actually, while we were talking, I threw your game screen up on the screen, because I know you're doing
Oh,
conquest
good.
battles. Now I kept it
I just
small because
I was gonna
go ahead.
tell you, I have a fight that I'm saving for you to put on the screen, and it's gonna go on auto, and you're gonna be very happy that
So you're
it's
on the
available
screen right
there.
now, but I made it a little small because the way Discord works and the way you're sharing the screen, like it got too pixelated when I stretched it out to the full size. But I kind of wanted to segue into Conquest because it's something that we were talking briefly about before we
Yes.
went to live. And I'm going to give you the floor to open up with it and the things I asked you to stop on while I go grab a beer in the other room. But I can hear you.
Oh, yeah. So we were talking about just defeats and kind of looking at these, thinking ahead to whenever Relic Delta does come in, but just like defeats that we have right now in general. I'm kind of like really annoyed by them, more so because what I fear is going to happen, like right now with like Maz Kanata and my Pirates being Relic 3, Relic 4, I already feel like like they just don't perform well.
Okay.
I don't really, even if I knew how to use them, I do not see how that team is going to successfully beat some of these teams in Conquest without the additional relic investment. And so what I've loved about this ability to relic these teams when they're at relic below 7-star at these lower levels has been learning to use them and being able to use them. Well, I found myself in Sector 1 just throwing Brutus with, like, Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, and I did the same thing with Vayne and Silvo in Sector 2, where I'm just gonna throw them with some dark side GL, and they're gonna survive, but I'm not using them to do anything, and I feel like we were getting to this point where those survive feats were beginning to get to, "Hey, you're using the team, you're learning
That you
how to
want
use it,"
to.
because that was a really important part of the game. I mean, this is dating myself, but when you actually had to play through Galactic War every single day, a
Hmm.
big part of that was you'd build a new team and be like, I wonder how this does in Galactic War. And
Back in
that's
my
kind of what
day.
Conquest was becoming. And
Yes. Go ahead. Finish your
now it's not
thought.
gonna be that. Yeah, so it's not gonna be that anymore. And I'm bummed because this Maz team I probably will never use again. I'm just gonna throw it on defense and be like, screw it.
So I don't have an. First of all, Ali, thank you for the raid on Twitch. Hello, Phil. Are you doing Club 38 on next Tuesday with me?
Oh, you're doing it too.
Oh,
Dude, they just
oh
got
shit, they're fucked. They're fucked.
it's
Oh god. Ali is gonna have a fun time on Tuesday. All right. So yes. So when it comes to the feats, I have Hondo. On Sunday, I had a friend of mine who hates to see my spending counter demand that I purchase what I needed to finish Hondo. And he sent the money to do it, which wasn't a lot. I didn't need that much. I just was going to wait. And I ended up getting Hondo. And that makes the pirate feats very easy, right? And I was like, wow, this conquest is going to be easier than I thought. But because there's a different pirate in each sector, after getting halfway through Sector 1, I kind of realized I can't go about this using the pirates the way that they should be used, right? Because even though my team can go on auto and do it, it's going to take me too long to do it that way.
Yes.
And so yeah, like I was using SLKR with in the first sector with Brutus because it was easy, right? And then the second sector I think is Vayne and Pirate Jude Law,
Slow.
right? So
Yep.
I was using Leia with C-Rex to wipe the board. And I've kind of just always done it that way just because to me it's easier, right? To me it's easier to do it that way since I don't have to worry about my stamina throughout different
Yep.
sectors. I don't disagree with you, but I think it's a hard point because the purpose of the feats and having a different pirate in each sector, right, is money. They want people to invest in the pirates, and they want to invest in all of the pirates, not just one or two of the pirates. Because if you just invest in one, you can do it in that one sector. But the counter to that is now the only way to get through Conquest is to not use the pirates the way that they're intended to be used. And they did the same thing with clones, right? And it would be like this clone in that sector, that clone in this sector, and kind of the same thing with Depa Balaba.
Yep. And Night Sisters, even the one was like Morgan surviving, and then the next.
Was like Great Mothers surviving, and they did it last time with Crosshair in this one, and then Omega in that one. And I can understand why it bothers people 100%. It doesn't necessarily bother me because the way I approach Conquest isn't, ooh, I want to play my team. And I think it's okay if that's the way you want to play it. The way I approach it is, how can I be as efficient as possible? And that means getting feats. And usually the team isn't the way to get the feats, right? So before the stream, I told you that yesterday, in order to get Disarm and Blind, I did Jabba, Cursitan, Wrecker, CX2, and Watt, right? So that I could
Yep.
just get it all done super quick, super easy, one battle, two battles. I'm not running a full Hut Cartel unless the game makes me run a full Hut Cartel. It's so rare that I'm running a full team of anything unless the game is forcing me to do that, ever, in any Conquest.
I normally try to do the full teams, but I will like mix and match stuff so that way it's like, oh, I've got a full Hut Cartel. Ooh, yikes. Oh, there we go. I was gonna say I lost a Wookiee, but Vandor Chewbacca with the revive.
I don't even do this battle
Um,
anymore. Don't tell my guild.
but what I was gonna say is like I'll do like, oh, I'll bring a full Hut Cartel, but I'm gonna bring like Cad Bane or someone to get whatever feat I need to farm.
Yeah, and if I can do that, I do that, right? But I think CG has gotten better at being smart with
Oh,
their
dude.
feats and saying, okay, you need to use a full Night Sister team, but the debuff you need is not a Night Sister debuff. You know, so
It's it's criminal behavior what they've done with feats. Because I got really pissed off. I started doing math, and it's like every sector you need like, potentially 20 plus battles.
it's been
Because
like
like
that for
sector
a
one,
while. But yes,
and it's sector one, win with all tanks, win with Brutus. If you do both of those, that's 20 battles bare minimum, plus whatever other
yes.
feats you need to get. And I dislike that from the perspective that when they designed this game mode, they said, hey, this is a chance for you to use your entire roster. And the way I interpret that is I'm going to use my entire roster to make this easier, not necessarily. And I think maybe that's a wrong interpretation because the way they're using it is you need to use your entire roster to get Red Crate instead of make Red Crate easier. Um,
Yes. But
again,
so the
kind of
other
for
thing,
like,
The other
Go
thing
ahead.
when it comes to feats though is right, you can skip 34 feats, 34 burritos. Um,
Yeah,
I
which I skipped
typically
the.
I typically try to get them all on the first set just so I can learn what I can and can't do. And if I hit
Yes.
630, I stop, right? But like I try to see what I can and can't do. But like, so next time in Sector 1, I'm probably not doing win with all tanks. I have no reason to get win with all tanks. Win with all
So
tanks
I.
sucks. We've had win with all tanks before. It's so fucking boring. CG, stop fucking doing win with no all tanks. It's easy. Malgus, Malik, Dark Trooper, Moff Gideon, Third Sister. It's not fucking hard, but they don't do any damage and it's so goddamn slow, right? Like, I'm not
Yeah.
doing it next time.
I normally do like all Jedi with JML, so it's still like it can be faster,
Yes, you can if you do the calls. Yeah.
but it's still I gotta play it manually because then I'm
Hmm.
trying to. There's like a get evasion down, so I gotta call old Ben the whole time, and
Yep.
it just gets annoying. Like we said, it just gets annoying sometimes. Like
Yeah.
they AP Gaines, who I saw somebody comment, he posted a
That he
video
posted
for the
today.
first time in forever. And but he once said, I think my all-time favorite thing about Capital Games, which was CG is too good, or they are so good at making money that they end up losing it. That they find these ways to like and again, it's not, it's a little bit tongue in cheek, but like they
Hmm.
find these ways to get you to spend that you're like, I'm not spending. And I feel like that's kind of what Conquest is at this point, where you're like, they've gotten so good at creating these feats where they've kind of sucked a lot of the fun away from it.
So
Because because I used to love, I would look forward to Conquest back in the day.
I think I never ever looked forward to Conquest ever. I don't know what you're
Oh,
talking other than the first one, and not because it was easy, but because it was like, ooh, new game mode, Conquest. This is gonna be exciting.
hold
Um,
on, hold on. Sidebar, you're telling me you didn't enjoy using OG deployable cooldown systems with Darth Vader?
Yeah, for like
Eh,
one battle, and then you go, okay, I'm over it. Like I'm not like a kid with like a spinny ball and sitting there with my fidget spinner going, ooh, look at shiny. Um, it was fun to do the first time, and then you go, okay, like I don't. Anytime it's a consumable now, I don't use it. I use it only to get the feat. I don't even like really use it at all. I have two thoughts. The first one, Palpy says it's player friendly in the way that we can get feats without relics, and I do agree with that. When I do my guides, I generally don't particularly say, oh, I do it with this team because I don't know what the data discs are going to be yet, and that can
yep.
completely change how you handle a survive feat. But I've helped people through this one that have like a CX2 at gear 7, and I am getting them the CX2 wins, right? Because they have Leia, or they have SLKR. And I think the important thing that all players need to do, and I know that there is some RNG involved, and you were talking about this earlier with the RNG of teams when we were talking privately, is I've trained myself to kind of look for specific teams. When I'm going through Conquest, I go, okay, I don't know how easy or hard my sector is, so I want to make sure I have one Night Sisters node. I want to make sure I have one Phoenix node, and if I can do that without Sabine, awesome. I want to make sure that I have one Bad Batch node, and I will work my way through to make sure I have those nodes so that when I have to go back, if I can't do it on a bonus node, I have an easy node that I can kind of work through. Um, my second thought, to your kind of original point with like the spend but not spend, I think that CG sometimes almost tricks us into thinking we've beat them, but then we haven't beat them. It's kind of like when people go, oh, hey, I think the analogy is the kid with the sign that it says like one watermelon, $3, two watermelons, $6, three watermelons, $15, right? And then everyone goes, wait a second, that doesn't make sense. LOL, I'm just going to buy one watermelon 3 times, and LOL, you don't get $25, you only get $9. But the kid is
Yeah,
going,
yeah,
I
yeah.
just made you spend $9. That was what I was trying to do the whole time. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
and I think that CG sometimes is very smart in kind of doing that to us, where we think we're getting one over on them, but we're doing exactly what they have anticipated us to do the entire time.
Oh, like every light speed bundle ever.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I think that it happens in Conquest. I think that, people go, oh, I would never, I can get through this just doing my 100s. I don't need the consumables. And they go, we didn't really ever expect you to use the consumables. We just put them there
yeah,
for you to not use. And I know some people do use them. People with lower rosters do need them, but that's not the
oh,
majority
dude.
of people.
I remember a point in time where I would buy, um,
Frenzy Tech?
I'd normally which one?
A Frenzy Tech? I know people used to buy Frenzy
Yeah,
Tech.
either the frenzy tech or there was like that and something else where I would purposefully make sure I could buy it every single time for like the final boss node
Yeah.
because that was the only way I could clear it. And it nowadays I'm like I don't even bother. This is embarrassing. I think it was 2 conquests ago in Maz.
Hmm.
I was like a battle away from my max crate, and I realized I'd never done the deployable cooldown system feat. So
I've been there before and gone, oh shit. How? How do I get this last one?
I, I felt like such an idiot where I'm like, okay, well, I can get both of these things at once, but like I wasted time manually doing whatever 20 battles for,
Hmm.
and I could have done that one. So that was just makes me laugh because I never look at those,
I've
consumables because they're just not important.
I don't use the consumables at all that you get for free until that last battle. Because for like the extra feat, right? Where it's like, do it with this character, that character. I go, okay, now I'm gonna
Yeah.
use the consumable because it'll just make my life easier to not even have to think about it. Um, but overall, I mean, Conquest has gone through cycles where it started kind of really easy, right? And then it ramped up a lot and
Oh
it
yeah.
got harder and harder and harder and harder and harder. And when I say harder, I mean battle amount, not like actual difficulty amount, because I've always red
Correct.
crated. And then it got really low again to where like Quad Maze one, I did in almost about 100 battle, like just over 100 battles. And now it's going back up again. And we've kind of like done this like loop thing of harder, easier, harder, easier. I think that they've found their stride on kind of um where they want Conquest to be. Um and I don't know. I guess we'll see also with Relic Delta how feat acquisition is going to be affected and if that's going to
Oh, that's
fundamentally change Conquest or not. I know that they're looking at solutions, but they haven't told me what those solutions are. We're gonna hope for the best.
I hope it's something you can I think the problem with like I say turning it off,
Yeah.
right? Oh, you get the option to turn it off. Well, then no one's gonna have it active. Like,
Well,
why
so
would you?
so I addressed this, right, and I kind of talked to you about this, and I messaged you before I did my video. I think that Relic Delta in Conquest should always be on, but once you've beat the final boss, you have the option of turning it off, right? If if every character in your team beats the relic level of the team you're facing. So it only affects feat acquisition. It doesn't affect difficulty because they want it to affect difficulty. I understand that for people with like Gear
Yeah.
9 characters. That's the whole purpose. So I know they're not going to do
Yes.
that. Um, but the feat acquisition is the reality is nothing should ever be harder because you've invested more into it. Ever. It should never. That's terrible game design. And that is
Yes.
what
Yeah.
might end up happening with things like Padawan Obi-Wan's Omicron.
Because I was like, even like some of my data discs, I go with all like vitality and fortifieds and like the leader's resolve because I don't half the time, I just want to sit on, like, I'm okay manually playing that for another minute if it means that I don't have to spend extra. I look at it more from energy than time because I
Hmm.
try to use the energy for datacron nodes.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'd rather spend a little bit more time maybe trying to farm that feat than necessarily um, you know, having to do another battle
Yeah,
with
and
like him.
it depends on the sector. So like if it's a sector 1 feet, I don't mind because Bad Batch is a super easy node for any team. Whereas I
Yeah.
think sector 4 is Night Sisters. Night Sisters with overpower 4 is a fucking bitch and a half to farm on if you're not farming with an amazing team. So it's like I want to make sure I'm done before I get to that battle so that I don't waste battles.
And the other team that's really annoying to use with that is the Mon Mothma team in Sector 2, just because of how long they can survive.
Yes. Oh my god. And it takes so many turns. Um Berm, what's up, buddy? Berm is a smaller creator. He's a nice guy. He looks kind of like a Timu scribe, but he's giving me shit because there's no box around you. And to that I
Oh, I
say,
don't
because it's Phatphil.
yeah, I don't fit inside of the box.
It's bad takes Phil.
Yeah. Now
Uh,
y but, like, and speaking of some of the feats too, I almost wish sometimes, like, I get why some of the feats exist,
mhm.
but I mean, I remember the earlier conquests where it was like gain advantage 40 times
Yeah.
because at that point in time, not everybody actually had a first order team now.
Yeah.
And
So
so
that's
like
true.
this and so that's why like this disarm exists is because for most people their most obvious answer is Kersantin, who takes forever to get 15 disarm.
Right.
So you need CX2 and you need the
Wrecker.
damn
New Wrecker.
yeah,
Yeah.
the other guy
Well,
that doesn't take turns.
my one problem is like so when we talk about gain advantage 50 times or whatever it is, right? If you have the ability to gain advantage, it's easy. But then like disarm 15 times, it's like fuck you. There's 3 characters that can do it. And they all have cooldowns. And they're not the damage dealer and it's just it's not hard, but it's really annoying. And I found a way to get it done quickly, but it's just so annoying. Right? Like
Yes.
doubt. Doubt is something that takes forever to do because nobody applies tons of doubt. And if you apply tons of doubt, you have a high cooldown. And it's just like it
Yeah.
takes forever. It's so dumb. What was that one when we had to do master's training 50 times? Right? Like one
Oh,
fucking
dude.
character has master's training. And yes, we
Yeah.
found that if you went on the semi-boss node and you did this special thing, you could hit auto and they would get like 20 of them, but you had to do that 3 times and it was a 10-minute battle. And it just it was so boring.
Yeah, I feel like I get my frustration is sometimes I think they get a little bit too um almost like I don't want to say in their head, but they
Mhm.
are like, all right, they make it overly complex to where it sucks. Like I don't mind a feat that's challenging, but just make it semi fun to do.
Yeah.
The boss feats going through like the rancor raid and
The what
the
raid?
tank like the boss feats we have right now, the going through like rancor
Who?
where you used like Tebow
What boss was
and
that?
Sector 1.
Yeah, what boss is that again?
What are you the rancor? What are you talking
What
about?
the fuck is a rancor?
That's what I said, rancor. Yeah.
What the fuck is a rancor?
That big fucking thing. Come on.
A
Don't get
rancor?
rancor. That's what I said.
A rancor. Oh my god.
That's what it
I
is.
love it.
Don't come at me for the way
A
I
rancor?
God, I hate
A
you so
rancor.
much. Go
I'm
teach
sorry.
English. Now I'm not gonna do the battle I was gonna do for you. Now I'm not gonna do
Rancor.
this.
Rancor. I hardly knew her.
God, I hate you.
No, I want to see the
But
battle.
like that's but I love that like hey, use these characters that I remember using to solo that raid. Like that to me is perfect. It's not a like the Commander Luke Skywalker solo, it's not necessarily a gimme, but it's doable. Like that to me is fun.
So
That
yes and no. For us, it's great. But when you have 5 shitty characters, like use Aura Singh, Greedo, I don't even remember the other 3 are. But like someone in the mid game, they're just like, well,
Yeah,
it kind of sucks because it's not, oh, gear up 1 character. It's, oh, I got to gear up 5 characters.
fuck. Yeah, which
It's
I
annoying.
get. Well, so this goes into something I've said for Conquest before, and it's kind of like moot point 'cause they'll never do it. But I wish they had like every day a feat in like every sector that was just like 2 points, like two
Yeah, like a
burritos.
mobile kind of sector.
Yeah, and it was like, hey, do the Commander Luke Skywalker solo, and then the next day it changes to something else, and that way it rewards people for speeding through Conquest more. Where if you unlock those sectors earlier, you can skip more global feats if you get these other ones done, and it would just add something unique to do every day.
I can get behind that in theory. I think it would need to be reworked a little bit, but I can get behind the theory behind it. I think it would be
Yeah, just
interesting. You
something
would
to
have to like play with it a little bit, but I could see it being an interesting way of going about things and making things a little bit more dynamic. And also I think they really do. I don't care what you sell it for crystal wise, but they really, really do need a line of data, not datacrons, data disks in the store because you can get complete. I mean, it doesn't matter when you have 14 million account, you can use anything. But when you have a 7 million account, you can get completely fucked if the right things don't show up.
yes, which also, God, can we please get away from uh like when you're like the whole like the challenge path.
Yeah.
I've only ever been on the challenge path. Can we just talk how annoying it is that like when you the whole how like the one side disappears if you don't do the challenge path,
Hmm.
and then so you get both of them and you unlock it, and then it's like, oh, both of these have two of the exact same cards in like 3 spaces, like they're like 3 of the cards are exactly the same between them, and you're like, this was a waste.
What I generally do is I only really care about this for like the first 3 sectors until I know how my data disks are stacking up. Is I go far enough on the challenge path to see what the disks are, and then I decide if it's worth staying on the challenge path. Because again, like
Yeah.
um, I'm looking for specific things. I'm looking for specific teams, and if there's a specific team off of the challenge path, and there's not an important disc in there, I'm gonna go make sure I have that team just to fight against, just in case.
Yeah, I did that, I'd say more back when I was worried about. I haven't worried really about beating a team in forever, or like feats, because
Well,
I'll just
when it
get it.
comes to feats, like it's just about like, all right, how am I gonna do this as easy as possible? But again, I'm mostly
Yeah.
gonna do it on bonus nodes,
Yeah, I won't.
unless
I'll punish myself on a bonus node so I can farm crons.
Allie, I'm gonna here. So Ali says if Phil were smart, he'd be streaming now and using the knock feature. And the knock feature is kind of a feature where we could both be streaming. And I guess you have different things, but we're both basically doing the same thing. I was thinking this earlier today when I was setting this up with my 3 screens and trying to figure out what thing goes on each screen. I love doing the 3 scoundrels. I love doing Club 38. I love doing other people's things because I don't want to be in the hot seat. I love when I can
Yep.
just show up and be like, all right, let's talk. I don't have to deal with anything. I don't have to deal with sources. It just so happens that usually because Phil has kids and is a real boy and I am home alone and have cats, that I had more time to set things up and generally do have more time to set things up. Like the
And it
nobody
works.
said anything about my card. My carnival card took me an hour to make. Bunch of assholes. I thought it was clever.
And and it works perfectly because then like I'll get on. I'm like, hey, are you ready to go? And then he's got everything set up and we can just start, instead of like when I've got a host, I'm like, all right, man, let me figure out how to do this again.
And it's
Going through
another
the whole.
20 minutes. Yep.
Yep.
Hmm. No, I love when I'm on someone else's stuff because then I don't have to worry about it at all. Which is why when I ask you, I'm like, who's hosting? Do I have to be on tonight or do I have to be like drunk tonight? Which one can I do? Because
Yeah,
I don't care. Just let me know now at noon.
I get to be the drunk one.
I haven't seen you take a single sip.
I've actually been nursing it. I
Mm,
ate way too much food today, and it's kind of a problem.
I get that. What did we eat today?
I had it. You know Moe's. They have
Are you
the
a
stacks of
Chipotle or a
Moe's.
Moe's?
Moe's because it's a little bit cheaper, and I get free chips.
What a fucking. I like Moe's because it's cheaper. Okay, I like Chipotle better. I do both. Moe's started doing the taco kits first. So when I'd had like my brother stayed here with his wife for a little while, we'd get the taco kits because it's kind of fun. But Chipotle has
Yeah,
them now, so I don't care anymore. But okay, yeah. So you went to Moe's, you got a bunch of free chips. Uh huh.
and then I always ask, 'cause I'm an idiot. I always ask for extra chips in the bag.
Uh huh.
I can't eat all of them, but it's just principle that I have to ask for extra chips, which is kind of embarrassing. And then I munch them throughout the workday and ate too many. And then my wife was like, "Hey, let's go get pizza right after you're done with work." And I'm like, "I still feel sick from lunch."
But I can't let
So I
her
had
know that I've had Moe's, so I have to eat the pizza.
yeah.
I get
Which
that.
I do. This is such a dumb dad thing. Like one pizza is like just enough to feed our family now, which is really a problem.
Yeah.
And that's because my wife doesn't eat her crust and my kids don't eat their crust.
Oh, I love crust.
S So I eat like a singular piece of pizza and then like
And 7
5
crusts.
pieces of crust.
I love crust. When my wife doesn't eat the crust and she goes to throw it away, and I'll be like, "What the fuck are you doing? Send
I've
that shit
I've
over
taken
here."
it I've taken it home from restaurants before where
Yeah.
I like get a to-go box of just crust and heat it up in the oven the next day.
Well, I've said this before. I didn't grow up in like a slop house or anything, but like I grew up very poor. So I grew up in a household where you ate everything on your plate, and I still
Yeah.
have that mentality. So like if we're eating dinner and watching TV, I'll finish my plate and then I'll go to take both our plates to throw away and I'll be full. And my wife's plate still has food on it. And I'm sitting there like scarfing it down as I'm walking to the garbage because I cannot physically throw away food.
Yeah, we I always say I grew up sharing sodas at Taco Bell. Like Taco Bell was eating fancy at our house
Yeah.
and we shared sodas. That was our like thing. And so like I can remember being, I don't know, 15 or whatever, and my dad being like, "Philip, you can get your own soda today." And I'm what?
You're old enough to have a soda.
Yeah.
Papa.
Like it was like Christmas.
Okay. I wanna segue out because I know people are like, what the fuck did I sign up for here?
Yeah.
Um, Ahsoka.
Ooh.
Ahsoka's economy
Ooh.
event. Now I want to make this clear to you, Phil. By the way, before we get to Ahsoka's economy event, you have people so
Oh.
trained that this morning for Duel of the Fates, multiple people messaged me to tell me, fuck you, because they think it's the Phatphil thing. And it's not,
But
guys. It is the Phatphil thing to do that for Peridia Patrol,
yeah,
not for Duel of the Fates.
Duel of the Fates is a Fat Phil endorsed event.
Yeah.
Like we love Duel of the Fates. Peridia Patrol is the bullshit event. Even
Last
though
time,
even though I even though I fully refresh both events.
yeah, and last time you got 2 droid brains and 1 Gerda keypad. Like that's a great roll. It's not the best roll, but it's a great roll. So the fact that you were like cursing me out. But anyway, I need it on record. If you do not R9 Ahsoka, I will
It's
come
I
to your
so
house and I will fight you. I will fight
okay,
you
so
in front of your kids.
I'm pissed because I'm doing this battle right now with a Relic 8 Ahsoka, and I could have a Relic 9 Ahsoka to do this TB fight right now
I'm
because I'm
confused.
doing the I'm using Ahsoka right now,
Okay.
and I
Yeah.
have all. I told you I was gonna relic 9 her
Okay.
tonight for this, so I
Okay. So
could
you're
have done
doing
it
it.
before this damn. I could have done it before this damn battle, and it would have been easier.
I don't understand why you're doing this battle on manual. Like, what kind of heathen are you?
Because I like getting Ahsoka's mastery to 100%. I don't like that the AI triggers it at 50%.
Okay.
Because I like using Sabine for like 5 million damage.
So you agree with me when it comes to the Ahsoka event that it needs to be
Oh,
done.
so I was gonna say I've been very. I'm like I was torn. I shouldn't say torn on this. Like, if you already have Ahsoka and you don't relic 9 her,
Hmm.
it, you're an ignoramus.
Right. So that's the
Like,
first thing we're talking about. I know where you want to go with this. We're gonna touch on
yeah,
that in a minute because I have questions. But you're in agreement with me that if you have
yes,
Ahsoka
like
already, she needs to go to R9.
yeah, like that should be the before the event. You need to have her relic 9 because it's. I'm gonna steal your thunder here. It's an 8-month return without a what's the word?
Refresh.
Without a refresh.
Yeah.
So with less than a year is an insane ask. And I think that was one of my fears with Hondo was going to be that you'd need to do all these extra things.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how many people you'll need for Smuggler's Run 3. But with Ahsoka, it's very clear you're only supposed to use her at Relic 9. Which that to me is the best. Like that's just awesome.
Well, so for those that don't know, like we all kind of know that this is coming up, and I'll throw it on the screen so we can kind of see the tiers because I only like briefly looked at this, other than like the R9 tier. But our agreement, right? Because this is the first thing I want to talk about is that it is an important thing, and yes, you should be taking it to R9.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this event is kind of like the Duel of Fates and Pretty Patrol, but it has less tiers.
Yep.
Tier 1 is
Which
shards. Yeah, okay, go
which
ahead.
is it shards? Is it shards for all
No, one of the following. It's 7 of Huyang, Syndulla, or Sabine. One.
so it's just but it's all of them though. That's what I was like it's not just Sabine, it's any of the Spectre units.
Yeah, but you only get one of them. But it's yes, you can get any of those three, but it's one of them.
Yeah,
And you
I'm
have
fine. I
okay.
expect it to be a one of them. I don't expect it to just be all of them at once because that's not the way any of
Okay.
the rest of these things
Right.
work.
So tier 1 is just the shards. Tier 2 is you get Kyrotech or N shards. So one of the Kyrotechs, 15 of the Kyrotechs, and either Huyang shards or Syndulla shards. And the reason it's only Huyang or Syndulla shards is because you need Sabine at 7 stars. So she
Yep.
becomes the priority. And then we have tier 3, right? And tier 3 is you get 5 million credits. You get one of the signal datas, and you get one of the R7 or 8 materials, and you get one of the R9 materials. Now,
Yep.
obviously, I am going to also take Ahsoka to R9, and if you're doing it, I will gladly. I need to spend some crystals to do it, but I will gladly take her to R9 tonight just to prove that point, and to put my money where
Yep.
my mouth is. But
Here, hold on.
are you
I was
doing it?
gonna
Wait,
say
wait.
whenever you're ready.
Hold on. We'll put you on screen. Okay, go ahead. R9 her.
All right. Yeah. Listen. Yeah, like I said, this is no pun intended. This is a no brainer, and we do have plenty of. This is my Hondo horde, so
And you got
we're going
time.
right in.
And you're going to be getting that stuff back, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, and
Okay.
even better, I think isn't Peridia Patrol coming
On
like
Saturday.
super soon?
Yeah, it's on Saturday. I
Yeah.
cannot
So
wait for my fuck you text on Saturday morning.
oh,
Super
but it's
excited.
coming after the fact. Because
Yes,
I was
it's
like, oh,
coming
is it
after
coming
the event.
beforehand that you could yeah you could get a couple relic 9s, but you can't.
So before I pop on my game and I end up doing the same thing, my thought here with this event as it is if you again if you already have Ahsoka, it is a great event. If you don't already have Ahsoka, eh, I feel like it is almost a little bit underwhelming to not have those middle tiers. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just I feel like if you're going for Ahsoka, it's not that you shouldn't care about Kyrotech, but she's not so high tier that you're getting her early on unless you're a fanatic.
Yeah, like I don't think I feel like Kyrotech now are kind of becoming this thing where I hope they somehow make it into scavenger. Like
Well,
for
remember, droid brains are going to be in the scavenger, and I
and
think
I
the
like
new signal data will be too.
and so I hope somehow Kyrotech gets used that way. And then it would at least incentivize us to engage with them because I haven't farmed Kyrotech
In a
in
while, right?
yep,
In a
over a year
while.
probably.
I so again, I got Hondo very recently, and I took Hondo and Vane to R9 in the last 2 days. And I
Yep.
did that so that I could get the era battle today, right? So I get the crystals
Mhm.
today, so I get the other stuff today, and it was worth it. 10/10 would recommend. But I am basically like, oh, I guess he's R9. I can't show you my relic materials with that. Like my relic materials are low as hell right now. And I actually had to scavenge to get the electrum conductors and to get the zimbittles and to get the impulse detectors in order to do Ahsoka. But I'm gonna do it, even though technically I don't need her until Friday.
Yep.
Um, right? Yeah, Friday. I am gonna put my money where my mouth is here because as much as I never thought I would take Ahsoka to R9, I didn't really have a reason to. I feel like it is important. I think it is an important event. I think it's always important to have an influx of materials, of passive materials at all times. And like you said, it's about an 8 month return, which is literally seconds when we talk about a game like this. It's like a blip. It's like humans on the timeline of Earth.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, it's a very like stupid in my opinion almost like stupid return.
Yes. Now, some people are asking about if old era battles are going to come back occasionally, and what I will say to them is we don't know, but Meathead has kind of left the door open to have them be one-off events every once in a while. I would not expect
I
them to be all the time,
I
but
would expect like May the 4th, Christmas, and like I feel like the anniversary, if we get the clone one, that's kind of when I would expect stuff is those special type like, hey, we've got this celebration going on, here's era battles.
yeah, yeah, and
But
and
I
they might not even do all of them. Who knows? But
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe like once a year because I was thinking about like how broken I don't say broken, but like if you have a bunch of those things at Relic 9, you've already taken advantage of the era battle, and then you're gonna get them 3 times a year. That's crazy.
right.
Because
So it's kind of like Conquest with the Proving Grounds when Proving Grounds first came out, and everyone's like, "Why can't we just get shard shot from this? Like, fuck you, CG." And I was saying to people like, "Well, because right now it's only 2 characters in there, but in 3 years there's going to be 20 characters in there, and that's why you
yeah,
can't do it, right?" So the same thing with
yeah.
era battles. Right now there's 2 or 3 era battles, but in 2 years there's going to be 10 era battles, and that's just tons of materials. Why didn't I get the signal data cache? Because I bought it 3 times already. That's why. That's how I was able to get Hondo
Is it
and Vane to R9.
is it back already?
It came. I don't know if it just disappeared, but it came back a couple days ago.
Okay, okay, that's the one I bought that 3 times.
Yeah, I
I
bought
got
it.
I got really I
I
got
got
really
the
pissed
worst
off because
roll.
I got the um chromium or the like electrum conductors eroding
Oh
heat
no,
sinks, and
you got the worst roll.
I got
Never mind.
I got that one time and I almost threw my phone. And then I got just like all signal data twice, which was fine.
So yeah, this time around, all three of my rolls were the most common one, the like slightly more signal data, but still
Yeah, which that's
great value. Don't care.
I'd rather get that over
Then the
almost
heat
anything
sinks.
else. Yeah, like I don't need the carbonite circuit board one. That's
Hmm.
to me that's not good.
I'm actually low on that stuff for the first time. Like I have 400 circuit
Really?
boards, which is nothing.
Do you do you see my I don't know if you can
I
see
know.
my screen.
I can see your screen. You have I told you today, you have thousands of this stuff, and that's because I take a lot. I take one for the team a lot more for my guild than you do. Um I had to take Grand Inquisitor to Relic 9 3 weeks ago because somebody accidentally deployed him incorrectly. I had to take Tarful to R9 recently because we had somebody
No,
leave the guild and I needed the R9 Tarful. I take a lot of silly characters to R9 just to help the guild with TB.
dude, we have
So
a speaking of like people taking stuff to R9, like Leroy Jenkins here just did Bo-Katan Kryze to Relic 9. We have a bunch of people who are taking Relic 9 Mandos for TB.
well, it's Wombat, right? I uh I got a private story on that I'll share with you maybe tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, and listen, I think it's strange because the way that the game develops, sometimes something's not worth it now, but then a year from now it is worth it. You know, with the
Yes.
game where it is right now, maybe R9 Mandos for that TB mission is not the worst thing in the world because for most guilds, it is a 2-day planet, and also Relic Delta, and also Relic 9 is not easy, but it's the easiest it's ever been with a lot more passive Relic 9 available.
Yeah. It's I think the my question is if you need the Omicron on Paz to get it done, that's almost where I'm like, okay, that's gonna be my last resort upgrade. Because like I don't need that team for TB
Yeah, I don't
outside
either.
of that.
Outside of the
I don't
mission.
need it for that. Yeah, so I don't want to be equipping an Omicron for now. I say one mission. We spend 3 days on that planet right now, but if everybody in the guild does that, you really only can spend like a day, 2 days on Mandalore, or else you're gonna fill it up because it's like a 2 million
Yeah.
point mission.
We actually just started doing Mandalore in 2 days because it's a funny story because I messaged my other TB officer and I said, hey, I want to do Mandalore in 2 days, but don't change anything right now. I want to do the math at lunch. And then I was at school and my wife is texting me frantically. And she's like, I just ran the wash and there is black water coming up through our shower.
Oh,
Right. Yeah. And we had just had work done. We just had a ton of plumbing stuff done. So we were like, oh no, this is probably related to that. And they probably fucked something up with our septic. So lunchtime hits and I leave. I tell my principal, I'm like, I gotta go. I gotta take care of this. Like my wife doesn't know what she's doing. I get home. My wife is shop vacuuming this septic water into the
oh,
shop vac. And then she's pouring it into the sink. And she's freaking out because the water won't stop. She's like, I've been doing this for an hour and a half and the water just keeps coming. And I look at her and I'm like, you get one of those like little migraines. And I'm like, Anna, you are shop vacuuming this water and then sending it right back into the same system. So it's going right back through the plumbing and it's going right back up. So you've been doing this for the last hour and a half, just fucking yourself over.
Yep.
But the point of the story was that I got that all taken care of, and I'm sitting on my couch because I have some time, and somebody accidentally stars Mandalore.
Oh.
So I'm sitting there going, motherfucker, now I have to figure out how to not lose a star this TB. I guess we're 2-daying Mandalore.
Yep.
So I wanted to do it originally. I stopped us from doing it because of this emergency situation. Then it ended up happening anyway. And we kept our 44, and we're going to catch up to you on 46. We just have to finish our Malachor platoons. Once we do that, we're golding, and we're switching our strategy.
Well, I will say it's more than just the Malachor, like 45. The first star on Malachor is not hard. That second one,
Yeah, it's just like
for us to go
Vandor
from,
and just like Ring of Kafrine. There's a huge
yeah, it just
jump.
takes, yeah, and then like our 47, we should not be far away from at this point.
Nice. Nice. I think my guild is getting more motivated now, especially with all of the materials dropping and being able to have more R9s. And if anyone is listening, by the way, we currently have an alt in the guild, and we are looking for a 50th, but we're talking about a almost 700 million guild. So like, be according to that when you Discord message me your 8 million account and go, hey, can I join your guild? Because that's not how that works. What was the cause of the plumbing issue? It was it actually was a legitimate blockage. So they did have to snake like the actual big drain in my basement. It just so happened to happen 2 days after they did $6,000 worth of work on other systems on our plumbing. So that was annoying.
I want to bring this up while you mention about like guild size and people wanting to be in guilds, and this has been plaguing.
I know it's your favorite topic.
Alliance. Yeah, it's been plaguing our alliance for a little bit now. If like you get someone who joins, and we have a bunch of guilds. So you have like Alpha, who's our top guild. They get like 48 stars in TB.
Yeah.
And then you have us. We get 46. And then there's a guild SBS who's basically the same size as us, and they get about 44 to 45 on an average TB. They're not quite as TB focused.
Okay.
But then it kind of drops down. And so you'll get these people who join the server, and they're like, oh, we want to join Mandos and SPS and Alpha. And we're like, no. And we will give them reasons. We'll tell them, like, you don't have half the characters. Like, you're scoring 3 million points in the raid, and you want to get a max crate. Like, this is not going to happen.
It's not working.
And then like the guilds in our alliance who would be like a really good fit for them, they don't want to join.
No, they want to punch up.
Yeah, and it's so frustrating as like someone who's in that guild, because you feel bad, but you're like, these people that sometimes if you join the guild that's more your size, you'll probably do better.
Because that's a possibility.
You won't have to farm something like, if you join my guild and like the expectation is you have a bunch of teams at Relic 9. So if that would stop you from getting Ahsoka or stop you from getting Hondo, that's not a good thing.
No. Go ahead. Finish your point.
It's a huge pain point for me that I feel people just they don't think about the long-term consequence of joining a guild that's above them, having to build these raid teams that they don't really need because you're missing key elements of your roster. That's basically what I'm trying to get at.
I definitely think it's a positive and a negative. And you know what? If you want to punch up and that's what you want to do, and you might get into a guild that says, yeah, sure. You know, it's a possibility. And if you do, good on you. Great, fine. Do what you want to do. But we have the same thing, and I have our alliance recruiting officer will message me often, and he'll be like, hey, I got this guy who's really interested in Mandos. And I'm like, all right, I mean, I don't really have a slot right now, but let me see his account. And it'll be like an 11 million account. Listen, I'm sorry, guys, but our average is like 13.6. You know, like, yeah. If you have an 11 million account, it's got to be doing some really, because I'll let you in if your raid score is like 16 million. Because then I'll go, okay, you're taking a lot of stress off of me. You're maybe a younger player who's put some real monetary investment or like really have focused on the new things. I'll let you in. But if you're the typical 11 million, you're gonna sink. You know, absolutely not. It's not happening. You know, it just
Because
it's funny to
I've
see.
I've I've been there. Like, I've been
Yeah.
on that side where you're trying to catch up and you just end up making these terrible decisions for your roster. So I've been there. So join a guild that's your size. Because also, whether or not people want to admit this is the truth, if you go and join Egnards guild at 11 million GP and you're not performing, you are literally the first person on the chopping block 100 times out of 100.
Oh yeah. Though I will say, I think some guilds do things differently when it comes to how they deal with getting rid of people. So the way that we get rid of people very much has to do just with your specific effort, right? There's no, I know some guilds just kind of cull the bottom and always like edge themselves up. We're very much like, these are the expectations, meet those expectations, or, you know, we're going to reach out, we're going to find out, we're going to blah, blah, blah this, and then we're going to replace you. But I'm not going to ever bring someone into the guild that can't meet those expectations. So if you're not meeting those expectations, it's because you're being lazy. It's not because of your raid score. It's not because of your maximum raid score. It's because you haven't been doing your raid, right? Or you haven't been
Yeah.
doing your this, or we've missed 5 stars because of you over the last like 3 months, right? But then the other side of this is, I see a lot of, and this is the video that people talk about the most of mine, is the breakup with your guild one. I see a lot of people who are way more competitive than their guild, and it kills
Yeah.
me because they like, I've talked to people today, and it's like your roster's great, but you're doing 4 times more than anyone else. You clearly want to be competitive. Your roster would be so much better if you had left 6 months ago. I know you want friends, but the people who are good, they will be your friends regardless. And there are good people in every guild.
Yeah, I've booted friends from guilds before.
Yeah.
It's not fun, but you know, you got to be, and it's tough when you have friends in a guild. It can be really tough.
Yeah.
But you know, you've got to be able to say, look, if you're not meeting what this guild needs or wants, we got to move on.
I think it's a differing expectation because, like, we have always in our guild, we've had people. I had to talk somebody off the ledge like 2 months ago, and I will say, like, I personally, um, I don't handle boots. You know, we have a guy that's literally his job is he handles the booting. But we had a
Yep.
guy about 2 maybe 3 months ago who never really talked that much on Discord. He would talk every once in a while. Um, and he was consistently not meeting these expectations. And we had reached out to him a bunch of times, and then he'd do better for a week, and then he'd fall off again. And we decided to replace him. And he sent like a bunch of messages that were not mean. They weren't like, I've had mean messages before, but they were very much like I felt bad for him. And
Yeah.
I don't want to get into a situation or whatever, but like I felt bad. And I had to get involved and kind of talk to him and problem solve and kind of explain and get him to understand, like, look, you need to chat with me. I'm here. But like, with all of these things going on in your life, do you really want to be in a competitive guild that's going to be texting you every 3 minutes, and you have
Yeah.
to stress about the game on top of all of the other shit going on in your life right now? Like, you're leaving in good standing. I understand this stuff is going on. Like, if something changes in the future, reach out to me again, you know, and we can discuss coming back in the future. But like, why put yourself through that? I'm someone who, I've said to my leader, my guild leader, like, if I'm not meeting expectation as an officer, as a player, I want to know about that, and I'll leave. I'll find another guild. It's fine. When I went to Korea for a week to see my brother for his wedding, I had no idea if I'd be able to get TW done, TB done, And I arranged with our casual guild in the alliance. I was like, hey, can we if I leave the guild, we were doing a more casual star plan at that point, where me leaving would not affect it at all.
Yeah.
And I arranged to kind of be like, you know what? Let me get into this more casual guild and I can help them out for a week so I can still like join TW and do this and do that. And we'll have somebody come up like temporarily because I don't want to fuck my guild. And whatever I do down there is probably going to be better than what they were getting before. You know, like I be like reasonable with how you deal with your guild and with your people, because it does affect other people as well.
Oh, I always say, I TB's at TB territory wars. If I had to be honest with somebody, I would tell them that that needs to take precedence over your GAC, because it's how many there's 49 other people depending on you. You missing a GAC, no one's gonna notice except
Yeah.
yourself. The
Other than
entire
yourself, yeah.
guild will notice. The entire guild will notice when you don't deploy. The
Yeah.
entire guild will notice if you miss your Bo-Katan Mandalore mission or fail the Reva mission or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's an important and I'm so bad with confrontation. I am someone who where like if there's an awkward part of a TV show, I'm like I don't want to see this, right? Like or
Oh,
when my
like every scene of The Office, you're
well,
just cringing with.
so The Office is like funny humor cringe, but I'm talking about like the type of cringe where okay, so here's a good example. Even though we all understand that reality TV is kind of fake, is my wife and I used to watch The Bachelor, right?
Oh yeah.
And
Oh.
like watching whoever was the Bachelor or the Bachelorette having to break up with that last person. I could never
Oh.
do it. Like I would sit there and I'd stand up and I'd pace back and forth because you're watching a real thing, right? Where you're just like, oh, this person, like, oh. I
It,
don't handle
that
confrontation well. Go ahead. I want to hear this.
I always said I respected the people who, we watched it a few times and I forget who it was, but they like went to the person
Hmm.
before it ever got to like, because like there's the times where like for people who've never seen the show, the bachelorette will be standing out on like some
Yeah.
beautiful area, and your car drives up, and then you get out of it and walk down, and if you're the first person, now you won't know where you are, but you're going down there and you don't know if you're getting proposed to or you're getting broken up with. And if you are the guy, you are going with a wedding ring in your pocket, and like there are times where that guy reaches the knee and then the girl is like, I need you to stand up.
Yeah.
And I said to my wife, I forget if it was a guy or a girl, went up to the other person and said, like, while they were still in their hotel room, they're like, I'm not letting them walk down there. I'm ending it now. And I had way more respect for them because
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
kept that moment of like, I remember what it was like proposing to my wife. I remember those emotions, and it's still traumatizing to think of how nervous and scared I was. And I can look back on that with a lot of joy now, and it's funny. But I couldn't imagine looking at that and thinking like I was so nervous and that girl told me no.
Yes. Yeah. But so the point of my story is like those things I have trouble processing and dealing with. So like with guilds, right? Like when I understand how hard it is to leave a guild. When I left my first guild, my guild leader sent me a message because this was before Discord was like mandatory for guilds.
Yeah.
Sent me a message in game, and it took me like 2 weeks to even hit accept on it because I didn't want to see what it was. I didn't want to know if it was a good message or a bad message. I didn't know if he was cursing me out or not. Like I didn't want to know. I still have a text message on my phone right now. Well, my wife just texted me, but I have an unread text message on my phone here from 6 years ago. From 6 years
Yeah.
ago, because my old boss, he retired. Someone took over. I took over from that person. I basically stole the business from them because she was a piece of shit. I had a small conversation with my old boss, like my good boss, and I feel like the message she sent me was existed in that space. I still have not looked at that message. I
No
still,
way.
like 6 years later, I still have not looked at that message. I can't do it. So I understand how hard it is to break up with your guild, but you sometimes you have to do it.
Yeah, I can say I will at least rip the Band-Aid off of, like, I can think of it like I left my last job and it was working for like the guy who was my mentor at like where I'm at now is where I was at before.
Yeah.
And it was I literally had taken over his role because he taught me kind of how to do it and everything. He left for another opportunity. Then he recruited me to go with him and I just didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I remember calling him and wanting to like cry.
Yeah.
And it's been almost a year and I've not been able to text him. I was at least able to like leave, but I can't bring myself to like text him and be like, "I'm sorry I failed you."
Yeah, it's tough. It's very, very, very tough. And now everyone's yelling at me in the messages to read the text. I'm not going to do it because
Mhm.
it's not something that's going to affect me. It's not like he's asked. I know he wasn't asking me. Like it's not important. Like if it's important things that need to be handled, I'm going to nut up and I'm going to I might take a day. I may take 2 days to process, but then I'm going to do it. And I've seen him since then. Actually, the last time I saw him was at his dad's funeral, like 3 years. So I've seen him after, Eh, and it is what it is. But like, just some like it's hard. The point is I understand that it's hard. I understand that it's tough. I get the awkwardness behind it. Sometimes I get Discord PMs from people that I go, oh man, this is going to be one of the like I get that feeling like this is going to be one of those PMs, and it'll take
Yeah,
me 36 hours to like really process and go, okay, I'm going to read this now. I understand, but I don't handle that type of like awkwardness well.
no. And I think it too it can be awkward as like when we've had like we just introduced this is really funny. We introduced guild score.
Okay.
So we always had this chart for it started as what how it spawned was we had an officer who at the time every time someone would come into the Sigma server, we needed to figure out who in Mandos wasn't up to snuff so we could bring this person in,
Okay.
right? And it was like, okay, stop. Like we don't constantly need to be replacing people.
Yeah.
So we came up with this movement score to be able to say, okay, here's who's performing in the guild and who isn't because you could get a false sense of it by this person is late in operations and they're like, no, I'm not, and you're like, prove it. And you're like, all right, well, I can't really prove it because I'm just trying to remember stuff. And so we came up with this big spreadsheet and we released it to the guild to be able to say, hey, here's all these metrics and where you stack up in the guild. This is not us telling you you're on the chopping block. We're crushing it. But this is giving you an idea of where you can work on. And it's almost made some of the conversations easier with people where before you're like, if I told somebody to build a Team Terrelic 8, are they getting the impression that I'm trying to kick them out of the guild if they don't? When really we're just like, hey, everybody else is doing this. Can you get on board? And now people are asking, like, can I improve my mod score? How do I do this? And it's generated a lot of good conversation. And it was just awkward kind of getting it out there initially.
Guys, I want you to understand that if you join Egnards Guild, you will get the same raid score as Phil. You will get 50 less credits a month. Sorry, 100 less credits a month because there's 2 TVs. So you will lose 2 stars. The difference is I will leave you the fuck alone and you will get your shit done. If you join Phil's guild, you will get the most minuscule amount of extra rewards, but there will be a team of nerds with typewriters and abacuses. Abacusi, I don't know.
But by
Monitoring
the way,
every
my
little
next
thing you do.
TV battle, my next TV battle is hinging on whether or not you can end this.
Whether or not I can what?
You can end this in a compliment or not. because there's a team I can use on auto that will make you very happy right now, or I'm gonna like piss you off with something.
All I'm saying is, I'm not saying it's a compliment. I'm not saying it's a diss, because I'm dating myself to the 2000s here. But I am saying that you have a choice, and to me, the
No,
choice is clear.
we have talked about this before where we're like, I fully admit we go to some extreme lengths
You
to
do, and that's why I could never be in
get
your
to the
guild, because
and
I
it
am I will get my shit done. Leave me the fuck alone, kind of person.
yeah, and like I mean, it's to the point I've said before, some of our guys, if you're 4 hours late on operations, you're 2 hours late. Like they want even these guys who have more Omicrons than you do for TB, they want the ops done regardless.
See, I do all of my battles without
It
ops,
it
all of them,
they
and I
it's
and I
they
and I have the
eh,
same win rate on auto.
but I respect it. Like for those people, I respect it because they're enforcing it from the standpoint that they're not as worried about their waves as they are all the rest of us who don't have the ops
No, I
or
completely
don't have the
understand. I completely understand that. I get that. I understand the enforcement of it, but I don't understand the whole like I need this before I do my own battles. Just get your fucking battles done. You're gonna get the same scores. I promise you, you're going to
I
get
know
the same
it.
scores.
Trust me, I've said before, but I respect them enough to be like, I get it, guys. I appreciate that you want everybody to get their stuff done and that everyone gets held accountable. Um, but it can be very, very annoying all the same when you're like, guys, this planet isn't even reliant on us getting operations done.
Ye- Yeah, well, I have some people in the guild who'll be like, "Oh, my, I'm waiting to do my battles until the operations are done. When are they going to get done?" And I'll be like, "It's Dathomir. Those operations
Yeah, like
affect Death Star. Like, just do
yeah,
your fucking battles."
we had to explain to someone that they were waiting to do the Marin special mission in we two-phase Dathomir right now. We're trying to get to one phase. And
Yeah,
they would wait to do Marin until the second day. And that's when Mandalore is open. And they had
yeah.
to relegate Dark Trooper Moff Gideon team and everything. And so we're like, no, you do Marin day one. And they're like, oh, but what about platoons? And we're like, it doesn't help. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Well, so I send out a message every day, every TB day, that tells what we're doing that day, and it says, "Hey, here's our
Yeah.
goal. This is the order to do things in." And then I specifically write in that, and I don't write it every time. It's a copy and paste. I specifically tells you what platoons affect what. So it'll be like, all right, Dathomir platoons are literally pointless. Don't worry about them. Like
Yeah.
Mandalore platoons only affect the fleet. And I don't know if that's true. I'm just making it up right now. But it's so that hopefully people read that and go, oh, I can do these battles because it doesn't actually matter at all. But I mean, I'm making fun of you with your guild score metric because it seems like really in depth, and your guild is more in depth than ours is.
Oh,
We do
yeah.
we do have a similar-ish system. Um, I'm not scoring people. I'm not tracking people in any crazy way. But if you do something, if you fuck up in a certain way, if you do something wrong that doesn't have an excuse. So like if you forget to deploy on a day and you didn't tell us ahead of time, like, hey, I'm on a business trip, it's gonna be really hard for me. I'm putting it in a note. We have private threads for each person, and I'm putting in a note, hey, this day they forgot to deploy and it cost us a star. And
Yeah.
that just it's the same thing. It allows us, if we're having the conversation of we need to boot this person, to say, okay, we have 12 incidents in the last month, of
Yes.
this happening. If you missed a star 1 month and then missed a star 8 months later, I don't give a shit. But
Yeah.
if it's a consistent thing, I can say, okay, look, there is a pattern. Let's first reach out and let's first see if there's something going on. Because sometimes something is going on in real life that we don't know about, we're not privy to. And if not, we might have to have that discussion about replacing somebody.
It's funny, we even use it for like we do a lot of wave tracking
Yeah.
for TB, where we kind of put
Hurts.
out like, hey, here's the waves everybody got. And one of the ways we use it is we'll say, hey, here's the waves you get in the phases, and we don't track phases 1 and 2 anymore. We don't care about 1 and 2. It's 3
Yeah.
through 6 now. And what we've done though is we'll be like, hey, why are your waves low? And then we'll find out that someone is giving up a character that stops them from getting combat missions.
Yeah.
And so we try to figure out, and I've told you it's crazy how much time it goes into it. But I did a video where I talked to my guild. I'm like, hey guys, here's some things you can do. And it's sometimes I think there's people who just don't realize that there's certain teams available to them. And I think with Relic economy changes coming, there's going to be a lot more of that available. We're going to have access to Relic materials that will open up teams in TB that are like Hondo's free.
Yeah.
Like there's no operations. That's a free team that you get to use. Ahsoka is a free team you get to use. The
So
clones
I don't
are
know about
free.
you, but I do this where I have a tab for, where are my tabs? I have a tab for every day, and it's every mission, and
What
they're
do you do
labeled.
on Tatooine unrestricted on day 3?
Tatooine unrestricted on day 3. I call that NS open. I use JMK, and I guess that's it, right? Because there's only one unrestricted. I use JMK for the unrestricted battle.
Oh, well, you're lame. I'm going to use a team that you love for that and press auto.
The Gungans?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's Tatooine. Tatooine is like the easiest planet. You could use like fucking
But this
Ugnaught
team
and win.
It's free team. There's no, because
Right.
Cat and JMK can go to ops.
So this is what I was talking about. What I do is that I slowly over time is I look. So like I just now have Hondo, right? So Hondo,
Yep.
I experimented today with the DS Open mission to see if it would be faster than Enoch, and it's not. It's not
Really?
faster. It's just a slow battle because there's not as much AoE involved. So
Yeah.
you know, with all of the reviving going on.
And I'm assuming you don't have one of them has a TB Omicron.
Yeah, I don't
Do
have
you
that
have
because
that?
I just feel like those are not as necessary.
Nope.
But because it didn't work, next time I'm probably going to take that NS Open mission and make it my pirate mission, right? So the whole purpose is that I'm constantly changing my battles out to be non-platoon battles, right? So I'm
Yeah.
changing them out and saying, all right, let me put let's see, what do I have? Let's put Gungans in, right? Because Gungans are a non-platoon team. I'm going to trade that out with whatever CLS, whatever I had there. New Bad Batch is R7. Let me take New Bad Batch and I'm going to put them in instead of Leia. Why? Because Leia needs R2D2, and R2D2 is a platoon unit. But I'm slowly replacing all of my teams that have platoons with teams that don't have platoons.
The Jedi Vanguard without the Omicron are super solid.
I got the Omicron, and they're beautiful even in later phases. I mean, I only have them R8 right now, but they are beautiful with the Omicron, and I love them. And this is really the only game mode that I use them in, because I don't want to say they're useless in GAC, but there's nothing they can do that I'm not doing with another team, and they're kind of easy to beat on defense from what I hear. And I haven't been happy with them in Conquest, personally.
Yeah, I haven't used them a lot in Conquest. I actually can say I used them in a territory war the other day.
Yeah.
And I think this is the old set, so I forget if I had a Jedi Vanguard Datacron or not. But I did watch my Jocasta 3v1 Rey, Ben, and I think Ezra.
Okay. And you don't have any territory wars Omicrons, right?
I have the leadership on Mace. I don't have Mace's leadership.
I have one of his.
We changed our territory war policy a few months back.
Palpy, Depa.
We weren't sandbagging.
Now you are, yeah.
And
because you're a cuck ass bitch.
And it's 100%.
I don't care. I don't care.
I just say I get pissed off if somebody's like, "No, we don't sandbag," and then you look at their guild and it's like there's 100 million GP missing, and they're like, "We just tell people who don't like Terra not to join," and we're like, "That's sandbagging. Just you're reducing your GP." So that's kind of what we do. We don't have a set list of like these are the people who. Well, it's like if you don't care or you don't have time, don't join. And we get a lot more droid brains now, but we also have been equipping Territory War Omicrons to kind of help us
Yeah.
bridge that gap because we have had a couple of real matches where we needed them.
I have one Jedi Master Mace Windu Omicron. I don't actually even know which one it is because when I unlocked him, I was just pressing buttons and I accidentally hit OK thinking it was a Zeta.
Oh God.
It is his. It's the worst one. It's his special move. I was very annoyed. I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Like, seriously, this is the Omicron that I got.
I gotta find him.
Gavin is saying ROI applies to time. CMs are low ROI. I agree that ROI applies to time, and that's why I apply my TB Omicrons, because there are a lot of battles that I can now auto because of those Omicrons. And that means that those 5 minutes, I can go do something completely different. I can put my phone down and I can be paying attention to something that isn't my game. And I enjoy that. As much as I enjoy the game, as much as I enjoy the fact that we're spending time talking about the game, right? And my entire life subsists around this game because I'm a goddamn nerd and I need friends. I want to be able to not spend 4 hours a day playing the game, and having those Omicrons allow me to do that.
I would say my GAC rank has kind of been dependent on how many Omicrons I've equipped because of how many I'd say in some cases I'm not even using all of them. So it's more the freedom that I have with the Omicrons equipped that I get to do more stuff. But I would, yeah, like I'll spend more time in TB if it means that I have some extra options for Grand Arena when necessary.
Yeah, but now even with the episode pass, like it's not like Omicrons are easy, but they are a lot more accessible than they were 6 months ago.
And that's why I'm able to have the Territory War ones that I do. Like now I think I want to say I have is there a way I can filter on Omicrons?
I think you can only filter Omicrons.
So I have Omicron ability upgrade. Oh, because it's showing me. I wish I could.
Yeah, I don't think you can do that.
Ones I've already done. Let me go to GG.
Oh, that's true. You can do that through GG. The more your end game, the less you have to play. I mean, yes and no, right? The idea of the game, I think, is that the more your end game, the less you're spending time on things that you've beaten, and you're putting time towards things that are newer, right? So we have this new game mode coming out. We don't know what it is. We don't know what to expect from it. And I'm hoping that when this new game mode comes out, that an old game modes gets shored up so that I can spend whatever amount of time they need me to spend in that. I can spend my 30 minutes there, but not 30 more minutes, right? Because 30 more minutes is too many fucking minutes. But if you say, hey, we're taking 30 minutes out of this and you're putting 30 minutes there now, then it's fine.
I have 17 Territory War Omicrons.
So I probably have like 4, if I'm completely honest.
I can, and I mean, 2 of them are like really outdated in Phasma, and what's the other one that I would argue is outdated? Probably, I mean, after that, I'd say most of the rest are pretty more recent. Like the Fulcrum and Cal is still good.
I think anything that isn't part of a GL team now is probably outdated at our level.
So I'd actually disagree.
Okay.
Like Great Mothers is one of the best There, if the Great Mothers and with the addition of what the hell is his name? Death Trooper Peridian.
Okay.
Doing that with the Great Mothers team, it causes a lot more problems to counter it than people realize. That always gets us really good holds. And then also having like Omicron Hera is really good
Hmm.
for offense. And I actually really like the one on I need to do Mace Windu, OG Mace Windu.
Okay. I
But
mean,
the
listen, I don't play
combined
TW anywhere near as much as you do, so I will. I mean, I will concede the point, but like, and I wasn't even thinking about things like Great Mothers, which is still not a GL team, so it is fair. But I was thinking of things like, let's say, like Droideka, right? Droideka was a staple, and
yeah,
it's
that's
still
not
very
worth it.
good. But for a guild at our level, once you break the GL walls, everything else is kind of like, okay, well, now we're just gonna tear through. Um, but again,
Well,
I don't take TW seriously, so I'm not going to push the point because unlike my more conspiracy minded friends, I know when I'm beaten.
I would say I think Territory War does need a complete overhaul, but I feel like this relic, relic delta, relic economy changes are gonna be, I'd say, probably the catalyst for other things.
Hmm.
But I've long held that you can't update Territory Wars without updating Grand Arena because there is a balance of where are you going to spend your Omicrons? Because one gets you droid brains, the other gets you crystals. It,
Yeah,
there's a, I feel there's a balance there of, okay, you can still do pretty well in GAC without Omicrons if you invest in Datacrons, which help in TW and stuff. But like, if unless you're spending money, you have to almost pick and choose which one of those you're going to focus.
so my thought is I understand people want a GAC update, and we've both done videos on it, right? And it is what it is, and I do agree that it needs to be updated. But I think that when Relic Delta comes to the game, unless they do something to TW, it is going to be like the only reason that people do TW right now is droid brains, and arguably maybe to a lesser extent Zetas. And some people go, "Oh, well, we don't need Zetas," and right, that's because you get those Zetas as part of your income each month too. Um,
Yeah, like
but once droid brains are in the scavenger, it doesn't mean free droid brains isn't nice also, but it does mean there is going to be less of a need at the top.
that would I actually really like that because that's also been part of like the episode. Like I buy the episode pass every month, even if there's not characters in here.
Yeah.
I've bought it, and it's because of the droid brains and the like. I think it's only like five. I want to say it's only like five of the droid brains and the Gerda keypads, and like eight of the air
You know that
magnifiers and
you have it right on your
impulsors.
screen. We could count them.
Yeah, but the ones I've already collected, you don't have numbers
Oh, you
next
don't
to it.
know the number. Correct. All right.
I think, but
That's
I think
fair.
for the But I think for these, it is just one.
Oh,
Like,
you
I
know what
think
I can do actually. We can confirm this. Hold on. We can confirm this. Let's go
yeah, I
over
think it's only
here.
5
I
droid brains.
have the current episode pass. So for episode passes, droid brains, there's one droid brain. There's two. There's three. I think you are probably right. There's four. There are five droid brains. You are correct. Yes.
So, you figure on the front of, like, Territory War, that's an extra Territory War win a month, or 1
Yeah.
Territory War that I don't have to win because I have this. And that's helped me you figure I bought this I don't know how many times that this has been active now, but say I've made we're probably approaching a year point.
About a year.
That's 3 what, 3 Relic 9s that I wouldn't have in my roster.
What a whale.
And if those 3 Relic 9s, you figure I just equipped one on Ahsoka, and then, the Dead Boys or whatever. Like, they've gone to things that have opened up the potential for more droid brains.
Yeah.
Which that's been I think they're with the economy events and Relic Delta that all of these, not Era Battle's not so much, but like the Peridia Patrol, Duel of the Fates, this Ahsoka event, I think they're all about getting people to make those investments and then getting them access to those materials on a more regular basis.
Yeah.
Because again, they've been pushing us to equip higher relics, and you have plenty of content creators. Myself, Avid Beaver's been on this, where it's like Relic 9 isn't worth it unless it's, and now we're seeing where it's gonna become more worth it because it gets you stuff like this.
Yes. It is,
So
but that's also why we haven't seen a new relic level in 4 years, right? And like, we've had content creators over the last 4 years always going, all right, relic 9, relic 10's coming, all right, relic 10's coming,
yeah,
all right, relic 10's coming, and it never came because CG recognized that it was not, there was no way for them to make it impactful in the way that would allow you to not artificially push them, right? And now we've had to artificially push R9s by saying, okay, they're requirements. You have to require it for this. You have to require it for that. You have to require it for this. But I think they want to do that more organically with the system to say, all right, you're going to want this. We're not going to require this anymore, but you're going to want this. And we're just going to see how that system plays out, right? Because
do you think I didn't get to watch your video today?
What an asshole.
Do you think that Relic 10 is going to be like a carbon copy of Relic 8 and Relic 9, where it's going to use all the pieces that came before it plus new stuff?
No.
Or do you think it's going to be kind of, it's, hey, here's the two pieces that you need?
I personally think, my personal belief, and I only touched on this a little bit in my video, was I kind of see this, you know how like in comic books, in the Marvel universe, the DC universe, I'm not talking about movies, I'm just talking about like in general, is that they get all of these heroes do all these fun things, and they run out of stories. So what do? They reset the world. They go, Thanos destroyed everything, but now there's Earth 476, and it's the same exact characters, but like now they're all samurai, right? And I think that that's kind of like what's going to happen here, is that they want Relic Delta to be a reset. And they are going to kind of push people into, with the economy change. So my belief is that old signal data will be doubled, and everything up to Relic 7 will either gearing will be worth more, or the scavenge will require half. But basically, the same thing. And I think that they want the world right now to exist in a Relic 2 to Relic 3 state where players don't really notice Relic Delta very much at all. And then they will release more relics, Relic level 11, Relic level 12, like at once, maybe a year down the road, after we've already gotten used to the system, after new players have come into the game who don't know any other system other than Relic Delta. It's just part of the game. And that is where you might start to see maybe some more divide, because they want the people spending kind of investing in those higher relic levels, and it'll be the new signal data. It'll be the whatever the new droid brain is, and you'll be able to work on those two things simultaneously. I don't think that it's going to require the same down the line. And if it does, I think it might just be like Relic 10 might require droid brains and keypads. I don't think it'll go all the way down the down line, or even close to all the way down the down line.
Because where I was going is, when they're looking at the economy and trying to think of, okay, what changes do we need to make? You almost want to, I would think, and again, I don't, maybe they've thought it out a lot more this time, but like when I think back to when they accelerated character shards and they told us, hey, we're going to accelerate shards and we're going to accelerate gear. They first did the character shards, and then they did the gear. And I
Mhm.
think it was a little bit intentional that they were like, okay, let's see how shards impact players, and then let's figure out the changes we need to make to the was kind of the way I always interpreted that was we want to do this part. We know we're going to do both, but we want to know how far we need to go. Like you think they added some gear to the daily challenges, but they didn't double the gear.
Not right
They
away, no.
doubled it everywhere else, but they did not double the drops in the challenges. And so they felt like that was finely tuned. And so I think if they were going to go and put relics 9 and 8 inside of relic 10, the impact to the economy needs the changes they need to make to the game are far more invasive than if they release relic 10 as a standalone, because if you include relic 9 on relic 10, you've doubled the need.
Yes.
Every character has you've doubled the need, and you've increased the need up by on relic 8 materials by what, like 50% or whatever it, some, I forget, I don't know if the stat is 33 or 50%. Someone who's a math person tell me the way that works. But you're increasing the economy so significantly that the changes you'd have to make are insane comparative to don't put it there. Slight tweaks will feel much more impactful.
Yeah, I just think I'm thinking reset. I think that that's how it's going to work. It just I think it's the smarter move overall for them. From a business perspective, I think it's the smarter move. But again, and I said this in the video, I'm just some dumbass from New Jersey. I haven't seen their books. I don't know. Like they don't like mail that shit out to me. I have no idea. I'm just a poor white guy who's almost 40 talking out of my ass about a video game at 11 o'clock at night, right? So I don't know. They have more context than I have, and I'm not going to say they're smarter than me. I'm not going to say that they're not smarter than me. I am going to say that they have more information than I do.
Oh, I have you ever thought about how much information they have access to?
I think a lot of players don't understand. Like, and that's what frustrates me when I see people on Discord, on Reddit, blah blah blah, and they go like, "Oh, they want this quick cash injection because blah 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 blah, and they're doing this because blah 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 blah." Motherfucker, they have so much goddamn data on
Yeah,
pricing.
like
They didn't price this item at $24.99 just to piss you off. They did it because they have a multi-billion-dollar company's worth of information on mobile spending habits. And
yeah,
they have
like
determined that that is the price point that makes the most sense for this.
I have that galactic relic mastery vault 2 that's 180 on the PC. It's 180 $190
Can I talk about that for
for
what is that? The Galactic Relic Mastery Vault 2, right? Okay, so I'm gonna put that on
yes.
the screen because I just valued that. I didn't do a video on it. Um, this thing. So we're gonna say that this is my video for it. We're gonna go over to normal packs, Galactic Relic Mastery Vault 2, right? All right, so there it
Yep.
is. Galactic Relic Vault Mastery Level 2. This is everything that you get in it. It is $199. Now, obviously, if you buy it on the PC client, it's a little bit less. Its value is $242. It has a value increase of 21% over my values, over my 500 crystal pack values. Everything I value is based off of the same anchor values. This pack is shit. Normally, when you buy something that is higher priced, you get a higher value. You get like
You
more.
keep going. I will be right back.
Yeah. Okay. So normally, when you buy a pack that is like $10, you maybe get 10% more than at the store value. If you buy something that's $20, you maybe get 15% more than store value. Um, the value increase on this Galactic Relic Mastery Vault 2 is just, it's embarrassingly low compared to where it should be. We have packs that are cheaper, right? $200, 21% value increase. I'm not sure if it's this one. Nope, not that one. That one sucks too. Grand Relic Duality. Nope, that is the poor man's other one. This one is fucking terrible. Also, where is the good one? I know there's a good one that's $49. No, that's 99. Signal data, relic reserve cache. This one. This relic reserve cache for $50 has a 142% value increase. Right? This $50 pack relic reserve cache has a 142% value increase for 50 fucking dollars. And that pack, the Galactic Relic Mastery Vault 2 for $200 is only a 21% value increase using the same anchor values. That is insane. That is that is like the kid with the watermelon 3 for 25 and actually buying the $25 watermelons.
Yeah.
It's awful. The only people that buy this are the people who buy everything. And I know people that buy everything. Those are the only people who should be buying this.
But here is my point: is they have the data to know that selling this at this price point is that they're going to get enough sales that let's say if instead they sold it for $100.
Right, and how to make the most value, right? Like a most amount of
Yeah,
money, right? Because at $100, you might get this many more people, but does it make you more profit than the less people at the $200? Correct.
Yeah, and that's part of the data they have that I don't know that they will never share that data with us because
No.
that would break the game. But
No,
that's part of the data that they have is they know they can sell this pack to us. And I say us because we are a community.
Mm-hmm.
People will buy this for $200, see it as good value. Because again, this goes into, especially right now in the economy, go look at where you can get droid brains. Like go if you go search for where you can get droid brains, not a lot of places. So they know that this is part of that data they have that you just would never even understand. But I'd even go into, they know like what buttons you press.
Oh, of course.
Like they know what abilities we use the most, what debuffs or whatever it is.
Well, of course, and they've kind of proven that with like the conquest thing, right? Like you have to kill 1.2 million bosses. They know what nodes get hit. They know how much they get hit. They know how much energy is spent, right? Like it is so. There's not some guy in a cubicle going like, we're gonna throw this at a dartboard and that's the price. No, it's very data driven. Now that data is sometimes toxic, and that data does not account for every situation, and maybe they're wrong about the demographic, and that's possible. But when the pack fails, they go back and say, okay, now we have new data, and we're going to use that new data to inform this in the future. Just how it is.
But yeah, I think my biggest, when I think about like packs coming up and with the relic, like relic 10 and this economy, I'm not as concerned about relic 10 as much as I am relic 11.
Well, that's right. That's kind of the point that I was saying before, right? When relic 10, I don't think is as big as when we've gotten past the point of forgetting about relic delta, that is when our concern should be there.
Because I brought this up, I think, where I said, like, the way the testing has been going in the beta for relic delta,
yeah,
it's based on the 9 relics that exist.
Mm-hmm.
But when relic 10 comes into the game, now those thresholds apply to relic 10. Now they're going to design relic 10 hopefully with those thresholds in mind. That, hey, did we test this against relic 9? Does this feel okay against relic 8 and relic 7 and below? Well, relic 11 comes in, and relic 12 and relic 13, and all of a sudden relic 13 to relic 10, does that feel the same that relic 10 to relic 7 felt? Right. And that's where that's my biggest fear when they talk about scalability, is that your relic 13 to relic 10, you're not just at that point now, you're not just taking into account the stats, but you've got mastery.
Yeah, of course. Of course. I agree with you. And I do think that like it is a concern. And I think that is when we need to start worrying. But I also, again, they make money hand over fist, and they'd be dumb to not be smart about how they do that. So when we say like my biggest concern, RoboMelon, is that we'll realistically need an economy update every time they release a new relic level. There's nothing wrong with that. If they say,
Yeah,
okay, we want people to exist in a framework of this, now we increase it to this, but we're going to move that back up to the same thing. There's nothing wrong with that.
yeah,
And if that's what they do, that's what they
yeah. Like
do.
I think they're gonna make Relic 9. Now, I think with right now we need a bit more of a drastic
Yeah.
approach because
Yes.
the like I think now I have like 31 Relic 9s. I think you have a bit more than I do. But you
I could
figure
tell you right now. Let's
like
see.
that's been over what, 4 years?
I have 39, 38 on here, but 39 because I just did the last one just before.
So you figure you're doing almost a Relic 9 a month. If you figure this has been out for about 4 years, give or take, not
s-
even.
Somewhere around there, because like if you think about the first 2 years, I probably did very few of them, right? So average wise, yeah,
Yes.
something like that. Um, we are nearing midnight, but I do have one
Yep.
more thing. LGR, I think this is a good topic to kind of end on here after all of these heated. I don't think they're heated. We generally have agreement, and I just make fun of you. LGR had asked, "What do you guys think the new bounty hunters will lead to, if anything?" Do you have any thoughts there?
So when I read Zuckus's kit today, my first thought was Boba Fett's Sign of Django just got that much better in Territory War
Okay.
because Zuckus has a Territory War Omicron on the unique,
Okay.
and it's
So
giving
he
out
won't
max
be a leader on
protection.
TW.
No, because it talks about um no allied GL bounty hunters. Whenever taunt is dispelled, he for one whenever taunt is dispelled, he gains it for 1 turn. Um, Whenever bounty hunter allies are inflicted with daze, they dispel it and gain speed up, which that's kind of counteracting Lord Vader's stuff.
Hmm.
But I think that they're going to. I found it interesting. They've continued to do this. He's got the bounty hunter, scoundrel, and unaligned force user tag, and
Yeah.
Forlom has where's Forlom at? Droid and scoundrel tag.
Yeah.
I've been noticing, I think everybody's picked up on this to an extent. Every new team now seems to have enough tags that can interact with a multitude of data crime. That some of these teams, like you think Merrick has an Inquisitor tag.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The Dead Boys, like Enoch is just Imperial Remnant, but Night Trooper, Death Trooper are Night Sisters.
Okay.
Ezra is a Jedi and Spectre.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
You've got to. I've been very intentional, I feel, trying to spread around tags, and I feel like with Zuckus and it's kind of expanding bounty hunters a bit to give you, I think, hey, the Bosk team has needed some help, so maybe there, or kind of fill in the gap for some of those other bounty hunters that kind of exist in your account that you don't get to use, because they're a very weird faction, I think, in 3v3. Because you really
Okay.
only get one 3v3 team. You don't get them in 5v5. I don't know that they're necessarily leading to another journey guide or team. I could be wrong. I don't think they've been much better, I think, of not everything is going.
Um. Okay. So obviously we're in an area right now where things are different, like they're weird, right? We have a 2 episode era, and
Yep.
there's potentially another era before the holiday era that we typically get, right? We don't kind of like know what's happening there. So we're in a weird space. My thought with these bounty hunters is that kind of like new batch. I have a feeling that I don't think this will be like the good new raid team, but I have a feeling they'll at least be usable in the raid. If not, bounty
Okay.
hunters as a faction with these guys being like the strong ones. Not because, and not in a way where I'm like, guys, you need to farm these guys, because the new raid is so far away that this will be like the free to play ones, right? Like that you can kind of get in the background before we even have to think about that. Because
And
I
they're fucking
think,
annoying to use in the raid.
yeah, well, you listen, with new batch, I've found a way to do it reliably, and I don't have to worry about it. But I think like real raid prep starts end of January. And I think that these will kind of be like the throw-ins for that. I don't think we're going to get new BH ships just yet. I think that CG has been very intentional with ships, and I applaud them for the B-Wing. Rogue One, I kind of give them a little bit of like bullshit for, because I got annoyed that I invested in it. I brought it to 7-star, and it's not. It does what it needs to do at Gear 1, Relic 1. Or
Yeah.
Gear 1, Level
Yeah.
1, as long as the levels of the abilities are up. And it does it right on the bench. And that's kind of annoying and lazy to me. But I give them a lot of
It's
credit
like
for
TIE
the.
Interceptor.
So it's like the TIE Interceptor, but you got that for free through Conquest. I think that the B-Wing, I give them credit for, because it pumps up an entire new fleet. And I think that what they're doing with ships right now is they're trying to make every fleet usable. Not just 5 ships, but every fleet usable. So right now, or a month ago, you had Profundity or Home One. You had Endurance or Negotiator. You had Chimera or Executrix. You couldn't use both unless you were playing a defense that was ass. I think that what they're doing right now with ships, and the reason why we're not going to get BH ships right away, is they want to release a way to make it so you can use Negotiator and Endurance. So you can use Executrix and Chimera. And so that there's this own little meta with ships. So I don't think we're getting BH ships right now. I don't think that there's going to be a journey guide necessarily attached to these guys right now. I do think they probably will be usable in the new raid, but I do want anyone who's panicking about that to remember new raid is like June, July. You have plenty of fucking time. Calm down. You do not need to invest in these guys for the raid until we know more about that way, 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 way in the future.
These guys remind me of Zori and
Yeah.
Stap to an extent.
And that's like the January character, right? Like the kind of like throw-in character that you don't really need.
Yeah,
like they're good, but you don't really need them.
Yeah, and I think that's I love Zori. I
Mm.
think she was a great addition to the game. They hit the nail right on the head with that one. I'm not as impressed with Stap, more so because it's like GG already had a team that was decent enough. Stap is good, but it's like I love Arnold. I respect Arnold. I hate when he does testing and is like, I want to see how this does against General Skywalker. And I'm like, dude, I haven't seen you face a General Skywalker one time in your 5v5 GACs for like a year. Like, unless you're in a sandbox GAC, you don't face that team. So, like, can we test this against stuff that you're going to see? And I know we can't because sandbox modes and stuff, but like, I've found some of his testing with some of these characters. He's like, let's see how this does against this team. And I'm like, that's useless information.
Yeah.
And so I think they missed with Stap, but very early with Forlom and Zuckus, but thinking they're going to fill similar roles where they're going to lift a team, but they're not going to be 100% necessary. Like, if you don't have Zori, it's not the end of the world. If you don't have Stap, it's not the end of the world.
I do think if I had to give them any credit, and I don't like to make Meathead's head bigger than it already is, I have to give them a lot of credit for what I like, which is these lifters that come in constantly, because it makes old shit interesting. It's when they give me one new character and it makes 4 old characters that are forgotten. I don't need every team to be an A+ team. I do like when every team is a usable team.
Like Luthen is a
Yes.
that was a great example of like Saw Gerrera kind of weren't impressed. Mothma's good, but not. All of a sudden, Luthen comes in. Are they a GL team? No, but they're friggin' good, and he makes stuff easier to do in Conquest or other game modes.
Yeah. And
That's that's
I
the kind of
enjoy
stuff
when
I
they do
love to
that.
see.
I very much, very, 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 very much enjoy when they do that because it makes things interesting for me. Um,
My
Go ahead.
question
Yeah.
is, so Stranger, right?
Yeah.
Kind of doing this a little bit.
Okay.
Do you think we're gonna get a much more expansive Acolyte era coming?
In the short term,
Because I thought about like think we got Jocasta,
yeah.
and we were all kind of like, where does Jocasta kind of goes with Keller and back, like kind of cool, and they're like her team is coming, and
Well,
then we
yeah, but
got
that's the thing. They did say her team was coming. With the stranger, they kind of said it's this guy, redacted, and this guy, right? So
yeah. So there's, but I would be shocked if it was only that one character because you're gonna at least get one, if not three other more characters for an era.
I could
Just think,
see, I could see them. I don't really want to see a full Acolyte era right now. What
I hear you.
I'm not spending another 45 minutes talking about it because it
No,
is
no, it's all good.
we've done it before, but I could see them doing like a marquee character and doing a conquest character. No, because he is a conquest character. I don't want to do two conquest characters in a team.
Like
I
that's
would say a
but what I was
maximum of two marquees right now.
because the one marquee is definitely coming. Or
Yes, I think a maximum of two marquees right now. By the end of next
and then
year, is there an Neclay era? Maybe. But I think a maximum of two marquees right now.
and that was where I was trying to get you to is like, how many Acolyte characters do you think we get? Because they've been pretty. I got to give them credit for the eras that like overall they've done a pretty decent job tying them together. This is the first that I think Axe have shown where like Zuckuss and Forlom, and then we get B Wing and Rogue One, and it's like none of these are Forlom and Zuckuss are connected, but like B Wing and Rogue One are not really.
Yeah, but we need that sometimes. It's just like
No, and
Nicole Kidman says. Okay, to quote Nicole Kidman, we need that. All of us. That's it for all my A-list subscribers. You see that, or you used to see that before going to every movie. We come to this place for magic. We come to AMC theaters to laugh, to cry, to care. Because we need that, all of us. That indescribable feeling we get when the lights begin to dim and we go somewhere we've never been before. Together. Not just entertained, but somehow reborn. Right? Yeah, I know it. I got you. But the point is, we do need things to not be giant cohesive things all the time.
No, I'm fine with that. They've been much more strict with it than it's become more the norm than not.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I 100% understand that. But I do like to see these little one-offs, and I wouldn't mind seeing like one-off eras or two-off eras more in the future. I do hope that it is interesting to them to do that more often because you know what? Like Pirates is a great example. I have people in my guild who fucking love Pirates. They're like, oh my God, I have the biggest heart on for Pirates. Great. You've just had an amazing 5 months. But if you don't like Pirates, you're like, I'm fucking bored for 5 months. So doing that in smaller bits allows people to say, all right, you know what? I'm not excited for this for 2 months, but 2 months over and I get to something that I enjoy a little bit more.
Yeah. And credit to Meathead on the communication on what's coming, even though in some cases it takes some of the speculation fun away.
Yeah.
It's nice to have a clear map of where we're going that you don't get surprised. Now, obviously, the Ahsoka thing is a little bit of a surprise, right?
Hmm.
But overall, major things where you're going to have to spend a lot of resources. I think they've done a good job of kind of giving us enough, not going and, Relic 9 and Gungan phalanx and equipment.
Yeah. Now, as we hit the 11:30 mark, I am going to kick you off because I'm fucking tired. And unlike you, I don't work from home. I have to actually get my ass up and get my ass out of bed and drive myself to work.
You
Um,
also have to teach children. I don't have
I
to
also have to
interact with anybody
teach
tomorrow.
very, very annoying children. I'm going to leave you with your last thoughts first because I have very specific last thoughts that have nothing to do with what you say.
As negative as I think every content creator can be around some things right now, I said this in one of my videos recently that at the end of the day, CG is investing in this game.
Yeah.
They are not going to all of these lengths and making all of these changes for a quick cash grab. They are being very intentional of trying to create a foundation for this game to continue for a long time. So you can say you don't like Relic Delta like everybody else, and that's fine. But don't think that this is some quick cash grab. This is a long term plan to continue this game moving forward. And
Yeah.
that, more than anything else, should get you excited for the continued growth of Star Wars Galaxy.
Damn right. Now, my completely unrelated last thoughts of the day are that we are going to raid out if you are on Twitch to Ranger J. For those of you that don't know him, he's a great guy. He's been on brunch before. I know it's late at night. If you are not sticking around, that's cool. That's great. The one thing that I do want to tell you guys is that he's doing a huge charity stream on Friday on Halloween. I believe if he hits his charity goal, he is getting makeup and everything done in the style of Darth Maul. Everything that he raises during this time is going to the American Cancer Society. And I think historically he has raised over $100,000 for these charities. So check that out on Friday. Say hi to him today. Check that out on Friday. I thank you guys for coming to hang out with Phil and I because we like to just talk, even though he refuses to actually come and see me. There's quite a few of you on here right now, and I appreciate you spending your night with us. So thank you. And we are going to just wait for that number to click up.